Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of Keikaku Korner Season 2. I'm Matt Marrero, and alongside me, I think on this side over here, is, who are you? What's your name?
Do not mind the man on the camera on this set or that set.
Yeah, no, I don't
We'll
know.
figure it
Yeah,
out.
no, it's funny. He's never watched one of our episodes. We did like 7 Keikaku
No,
Korner.
I
I know,
have.
I know. So anyway, so here we are. We took a little bit of a hiatus because we knew we were behind. We knew we were getting too behind. We knew we wanted to talk about too many stories. So instead of, we could have kind of done like a weird WarioWare like remix kind of thing, where we just like pick different stories from different months and then just combine them all. But I think there was too much we wanted to talk about. So I think you and I had to make a really like a harsh decision.
Tough
Yeah,
call.
tough call, and just kind of cut it off for a bit.
Yep.
I had the time with that time, with a little bit more of that free time. Not only did we, go to nearly daily releases on our Those Guys Play YouTube channel, but also we ended up, or I ended up posting some of our older podcasts because we've been podcasting, doing reviews for stuff for like, oh man, dude, like 4 years now. So I was just posting all that stuff on our YouTube channel because a lot of our backlog isn't on our Those Guys on the Radio YouTube channel. So that's what I was doing in the meantime as well. But now here we are again, coming at you with pretty much, we're gonna have daily releases, daily clips of Keikaku Corner, or at least this episode of Keikaku Corner. So, Tristan, are you excited? Season 2, you hyped? You think this season might be longer than season 1?
Possibly.
Possibly, right? And so let's talk about our first story of the day. We have some very interesting stories, just kind of a quick, small run through of just some headlines. Really quickly, we're talking about Funimation apparently letting the license go for Case Closed or Detective Conan. We're also talking about some very interesting. How geeky is your state? That's going to be a very interesting story. We're also looking at manga crowdfunding because what is our podcast without talking about different crowdfunding Kickstarters? Really, what is our podcast? What is Keikaku Corner without that? We're also talking about some new interesting Yu Yu Hakusho news, which is some nice stuff as well. Also about some manga rankings, very interesting manga rankings. For some new manga out there. Also something involving Nintendo and patent infringement. Oh no, Tristan. And
Yes.
Gasp. Interesting Power Rangers stuff. And also talking about some sad news with Aqua Times, which, we're really big fans of. Maybe not I don't know about you, but I haven't listened to the entire band's discography. But I can't say that if I've heard them in an anime, I disliked it. So, yeah,
Yeah.
so I'll say that much. But yeah, so all that and more in this episode of Keikaku Corner. But first off, we're going to talk about the Funimation thing, the situation with Case Closed. Also with another show called Kenichi the Mightiest Disciple. I never saw Kenichi the Mightiest Disciple. Maybe I should. I don't know. But I haven't heard anything bad about it. Have you?
I mean, I've seen ads for it for DVD.
Okay. It looks, from what I remember, it looked generic, but not bad. But
Yeah.
not bad.
Yeah. That might be the best way to put
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah. But here's the thing, right? And the reason why I'm freaking out about this, not about Kenichi, sorry creators of Kenichi, with Case Closed or Detective Conan. You and I have been talking about this for years. We actually talked about this a little bit on this podcast as well. So I just want to know what's next. Because basically, if you guys don't know, and I've talked to Tristan about this before, if you guys don't know, when a company licenses an anime or manga in the West, they get a few years to do what they like with it within the contracts, and of course there's creative control from the Japanese side as well. Many times with the author as well or general creator of the show. So Funimation had years to do something with this. They released 5 seasons, I think 5 or 6 movies. I have more movies than I have seasons, Tristan. And they stopped releasing it because according to them it just wasn't selling. And it was sad because there were a lot of... Well, this is the thing, Tristan. There are a lot of people who are fans of something and who say they're a fan of something.
Right.
And I'm not saying that they're lying, right? But them being a fan of something doesn't always equate to them buying whatever merch is needed to keep the show afloat in the States.
Right.
So, like, I wonder how many people who are Attack on Titan fans And even though, yes, they're giving money to the show back in Japan if they watch it through Crunchyroll, but if they're not buying a Funimation DVD, then if Attack on Titan wasn't as big as it was, which it was, so of course, Funimation is releasing more Attack on Titan as it comes out. I mean, freaking Season 2 was simul-dubbed, right? Pretty much.
Right.
So, and I think Season 3 probably will be as well. So in no way am I sitting here saying that Attack on Titan wasn't popular, but if very few people bought the DVDs and watched it through Funimation's website and only watched it through Crunchyroll, or maybe, I don't know if Netflix worked with Funimation or if because it still is, I think, Attack on Titan Season 1 is on Netflix, subbed, right? So if Netflix paid Funimation for that and not the original company in Japan, then that means that Funimation is getting good money just from Netflix alone, right? So it doesn't matter if they watch on Netflix and not through Funimation, that money is still technically, has already gone to Funimation. So my point is that you can have people who say, hey, and there are a dedicated amount of Case Closed Detective Conan fans in the U.S. I'm not putting you guys down. I'm not saying there are too little of you. I just do think that, Funimation, they tried their hardest. They licensed 5 seasons, which is a lot of a show, right? Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was about 100 episodes or so. So they licensed 100 episodes, didn't sell well. The ratings didn't do so hot on Adult Swim. It was pulled, even though I enjoyed what I saw of it on Adult Swim. I remember I would try to get up super early, like 5:30 in the morning, to watch it. Because it was just really, I thought it was really good. I have some of the 4-episode volume DVDs. I think that maybe also hurt it as well. Like, back when those weren't, back when 4-episode DVDs were not super problematic, it was kind of the norm. But were you really going to buy them for $20 a pop?
Right.
Especially for a show that at the time I think it wasn't $700 like it is today, but I'm pretty sure it was still like $400 to $500 or something like that. So, yeah,
that's pretty rough.
That's pretty rough. Yeah, they obviously released season box sets. I have season 1 box set. I have a bunch of movies that they released those were cheap, right? I can get those for like $10 a pop, $15 a pop.
Right.
But no, it never seemed to catch on in the States. I think that had to do with... So have you seen Case Closed, Tristan, or no?
I haven't.
Oh, okay.
No.
So there was an issue, and I understand why some people had issues with this, but still, there was an issue. The original Japanese license holders wanted, due to potential concerns of Detective Conan, the phrase Conan potentially having trademark issues, the same way that the creators in Japan of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure are like, hey, let's not have a character be called like AC/DC spelled the same way as the band. They might change some of the spellings, some of the pronunciations, just some of the names straight up, right? Where, oh God, what was it? Not Ice Baby? No, what was this? I'm thinking of a character I don't know yet. Wasn't Vanilla?
Cool Ice.
Yeah, but it's
Vanilla Ice
Vanilla
is the name, and it's the band, the artist name. So they changed it to Cool Ice.
Thank you. Yes, which makes sense in the dub, but then it's so funny because even on Crunchyroll, they'll say like Vanilla Ice, and it's like Cool Ice. And it's like art, but it's what they have to do. They worry about copyright stuff, right? So the Japanese side was worried about both copyright stuff and also there was just this idea that maybe Americans would like Americanized names. So they said to Funimation, if you're bringing this over, the names have to be changed.
Right.
So what that means, Tristan, is that a bunch of people online who maybe didn't know this, I mean, this information might not have been well known at the time, who love the Japanese names, and I understand because it's not even like it's a Pokemon situation where I sit back and I'm like, guys, I'm not saying that, Charmander's Japanese name equals Charmander, but I still think that to a certain degree with the Pokemon names, the names are based on their characteristics in some way or another. So having English equivalents, even if they're not one-to-one direct translations, I'm okay with that. However, it's a bit hard to take like Shinichi. Shinichi, I forgot his last name, I feel terrible. Turning that into Jimmy Kudo.
Right.
People weren't fans of that. I forgot, I forgot what his friend's name, I forgot what her name was in Japanese, but in English her name was Rachel. So just in general, people were like, it rubbed them the wrong way. Instead of being in Japan, they were in LA. It just, people were not big fans of these changes. But also remember though, Tristan, this was just the dub. In the sub, they didn't call him Jimmy Kudo. So they could have bought the DVDs and just watched the sub. And the sub was super Japanese. Like, same thing with, like, the Dragon Ball Z subs on the DVDs. Where it's like they have Sans, they have Chans, they have Kuns, they have Samas. Like, they don't translate any of that.
Right.
I mean, if I'm correct, does the... and this is probably because of the fact that I'm getting mixed up because when I was a kid, I had those fan sub VCDs that I've talked about on our TG Productions YouTube channel. No, the reason why I'm asking is, Tristan, did they actually translate Super Saiyan in, like, on the sub side of Funimation, or did they actually put Super Saiyajin? Was it Super Saiyan on the sub side of things? I know it's been a while for you, but I know you've watched them so many times. I have to ask you.
I think they still went with.
He's about to be like, well, this podcast is over. Marathons DBZ in like one night.
Yeah.
Well, the podcast is going to end in 5 minutes. I'm just saying that people were not fans of those changes. I think those added on to it. Also, the idea of fan subbing being the cool counterculture, I think added on to it as well. And again, that fire was fueled by the name changes. I'm not saying that it's right that, you know, fan subbing is sort of like the cool counterculture. Let's not, you know, pay the corporate overlords. It's like, guys, if you like the show, buy the show, right? Then more of the show will come to you. But still, it's very interesting. It's very strange. Also, I think the first 100 episodes, I'm going to say 110. I want to look here. Oh, 104 that Funimation licensed. Those were removed from Crunchyroll. So Crunchyroll only has like episode 500 some odd and up. Yeah. But 500 some odd and up from Crunchyroll were negotiated, I think, with TMS, the company that owns it in Japan. So in other words, my point is that technically they could license the rest from them as well, like the original hundreders, like a couple hundred. So they could have, like, them losing the first 104, really that was just kind of a cushy thing with Funimation. Like, oh, hey, well, you know, we need the first 104. We're working with Funimation anyway. Maybe we can have some of those. But now that those are gone, it's not like there's nothing stopping them from going to the original company and getting them in Japanese. So in terms of being subbed on Crunchyroll, that's fine. That they'll be fine there. But I do think it is a little sad about how Case Closed or Detective Conan never really picked up in the same way that other shows have in the US. Yeah. I know it wasn't a Dragon Ball Z, you know, it wasn't hyper action, but it also, I don't know. There was just, I really do wonder why. I kind of want to sit you down and maybe we can watch an episode or two. Maybe we can discuss, not on a podcast, just generally you and I, why it never really picked up. Because like it was like one of those crime shows, those detective shows where it's like, tune in next week and we'll see who the killer is. Like one of those murder mystery shows. But I think maybe the main character being a kid didn't help in some ways. Even though he's technically a teenager, but you know, he's in the body of a kid due to some drug that he was given by some mysterious organization that I think 700 episodes in, they've made some strides, but they haven't found a way to bring him back yet. 700 episodes. Right. Yeah. I think they brought him back like temporarily, but it always wore off. But 700 episodes. So, I'm sorry guys, I have to say it out loud. 700 episodes. But either way, this is big news because if a company does want to step in, like Discotech, like Sentai Filmworks, I don't know if Sentai Filmworks would step in. You know, they kind of step back with the Gintama stuff. Right. But it's still very interesting because there's always an opportunity for another company to step in if they want to. I would think though that they might be sub only, because I think maybe as much as I love dubs, I love, you know, dub actors getting work. I don't know if a company's going to want to commit to potentially 700 episodes of a dub unless there's a TV deal.
Yeah.
Like if Adult Swim, because it does seem like Toonami is wanting to do stuff, wanting to go in different directions, right? Take things a different path. Um, if they wanted to try something like this, again, I don't know how it would work because 700 episodes, but
Right.
on a weekly basis, you're fucking here 10 years, how got no more than 10 years behind. But if they wanted to try, I do think that if a company got a TV deal, perhaps they'd want to dub. I mean, what are your thoughts? I think at this point, though, a company would want to do, if they were going to license it for DVD, sub only, bare bones. But,
Yeah,
yeah, you think the
probably.
same? But you think they might actually try and do a like a Blu-ray thing? Not the episodes on Blu-ray, but do you remember we were talking about that one series that they just took like all 26 episodes and put them on one Blu-ray? They were all SD, so they were all DVD
Right.
quality, but they were all on one Blu-ray. You think they might try to do that to mitigate, like to kind of bring down some of the costs? Because I think
Maybe.
that's the biggest issue with a series like this. It's hey, we need people to buy these 26 episodes for like 40, 50, $60 on a
Right.
disc, which some people are giving up physical media entirely. And we need them to do this for, you know, 40 times over.
Yeah.
So it's rough. It's rough. There was some rumors that Netflix might be picking it up. Do you think that would be? Because I do wonder. I know Netflix kind of wants to get a bigger hold in the anime game. Do you think that's a
Yeah.
show that would be popular on Netflix? That's the only issue. Is that I feel like they'd be, much as I love Detective Conan, I feel like they'd be wasting some money.
I mean, I don't know. It might be like I've never really watched the series myself, so I guess I wouldn't
Well,
really
just
know.
murder
But
mystery. That's what I'm saying. Murder compared to all the other shonen type anime.
yeah,
Do you think
I
murder
mean,
mystery would cut it on there?
I think it would.
All
Yeah,
right.
and
Um,
it would be something that would be. I feel like it would be a challenge to
hmm.
actually try and binge it.
Well, I'm sure they would probably release it every maybe 3 months or so in
Right.
26 episode
Yeah.
batches or something. What I
Probably.
would say though is, I think the only way it would be worth it, and I don't know what you guys think. You know, comment down below with your thoughts. I think it would only be worth it is if Netflix actually put money towards a dub. Because if you tell me, oh, but Matt, 700 episodes are available subbed on Netflix, and I'm like, yeah, but they could also be available on Crunchyroll. Like, unless Netflix gets an exclusive deal to all of Case Closed, in which case every single online streaming distributor for Case Closed has to, like, shut down. Every legal one has to shut down. Like, shut down their, you know, like, remove all their episodes of Case Closed. I don't see why I would want to go to Netflix over Crunchyroll.
Right.
Because Crunchyroll currently has 500 and up. Even if Netflix gets 1 to 400, then it's like, all right, if I love the series after 400 episodes, which, holy shit, then I'll just go to Crunchyroll for the rest. Like, I don't know
Right.
why they would want me to stick to Netflix. Even if it's like, well, you watched the first 400 here, why would you go to Crunchyroll for any more? Well, from what I've seen from Netflix, I prefer Crunchyroll subs. Like their
Right.
timing, I kind of prefer their
Yeah.
timing. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's the one thing I'll say is with how long Case Closed is, the way they drop episodes and make them bingeable and release like 52 episodes, this year and then next year 52. I mean, they'd still be super behind if they do it yearly. But I have to say though, Tristan, with a show this long, the way Netflix throws them on, it wouldn't be so bad. To me, it's a problem with a new running show, like a show that's still running, which Case Closed is. But like, if Netflix understands, hey, we're behind. Every 6 months, we're gonna release 52 episodes, or every 3 months, we're gonna release 52 episodes.
Right.
All right, I'm okay with that. You know, still gonna take them a while, but I'm okay with that. Heck, if they really wanna, it's funny if they want to gain some attention and kind of gain some media hype, they could end up getting articles about how they dropped 700 in one day. I mean, that'll get you some media attention, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, either way, it's something that should have happened a long time ago, Funimation dropping this. I mean, but again, they had their contract, so maybe they had to keep it for 6 years or whatever the time was, maybe 10 years. God knows how much they paid, for this because they thought this was going to be a big deal because it was a big deal in Japan, and a lot of other shows that they've brought over have also been big deals in Japan,
Right.
right? Like Dragon Ball Z, big deal, right? And then it was a big deal here. So I don't know how much they paid. I don't know how long the licensing term was for, but this is something that I think should have happened a long time ago, and I'm happy that it actually happened. Your thoughts? I mean, again, I know you don't know much about the show's content, but you've heard me discuss like this thing being in limbo for a very long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good. I'll say that much. How's Patchy? Does Patchy agree? Is she in the
Yes.
shot? All right, cool. She agrees.
She's present. Yes.
All right, she's present. She's present.